So just a side note, um, that interpreting somebody's lingering gaze, staring and whatnot, as a bad thing is not 100%, because I got a feeling that some people have a way of wanting to compliment, and they could be misread based on etiquette and corrected based on etiquette, regardless that they're um, or trying to, in their own way, um, give you props. And that's kind of strange to think about, because, like, I don't know, it's like you had somebody um, saying maybe it's not that you're different, it's that you stand out in a different way from your demographic or something. So and looking at you could be in like a way to, like, um, try to set a wavelength, and you're looking at it like, oh well, you're staring at me or something like that. Like, maybe your parents didn't raise you right, because they're supposed to tell you, like, when you're very young, like, don't stare, that's rude, right? Like, don't stare, that's rude. So like, I do like a lot of detailing my previous statements and going over, because there's nuance and with everything. Like the woman I seen that had a bruised up face walking around with her man, and I was like, oh damn, did he beat you up, or did he allow you to get beat up? It could have been that he just responded after she got beat up. It could be that he did everything he was supposed to do. So I can't be like, oh, he's letting out a man. And then the other thing was, you don't have to try to practice savage preservation to ward off Christian proselytization, because I think the better way is to not dabble with it, because in trying to ward those people off, you end up learning a lot, and things that blow your mind. And if you can blow the mind of somebody instead of competing with them in this tit for tat, like, I brought you into the Lord, no, I brought you into the Lord, I'm smarter, what are you telling me this for? Like, that isn't what it's for. If somebody tells you that, um, if you're not, washed in the blood, or like if you haven't given yourself over to belief in Christ, then you're gonna go to hell. Uh, Try to have the deep philosophical questions, theological philosophy and stuff. Like, ask them about, like, who's your favorite influencer of church fathers or something. Is you like Basil, Clement, you like Irenaeus, you like, who do you like, Augustus or Ambrose or something, like because I don't know everything. If they start telling you about that stuff, then you could be like, oh wow, you've had your mind blown too. Like, maybe you are gonna blow my mind more. Like, if they're like, oh, I don't know anything, like what do you think about the ecumenical council? Should the Ninth Ecumenical Council be recognized by the stuff like that, just so that they're not annoying me, just so that they're not annoying. Because at worst, that's all they're doing, is being annoying. It's just like, you don't have to actually care about genetic determinism unless somebody who's calling you a racist is actually a genetic determinist himself. And these, like, if people don't want to deal with the meat of the subject, and they're just like it's just like they have a wet nurse, and they're like, it's like, you're a Christian. I don't want to say that they're not a Christian because they haven't become a catechist or something. If I have my own idea about what somebody does to become a Christian, and I thought I was Christian or raised, Catholic, and didn't make me a Christian, it's like, it doesn't mean that you don't have faith, and your faith can be stolen. It could be, but, like, okay, it could be stolen by, preachers. They're using the word to scare people, kind of like a gangster, into the cult or something. Or maybe they take advantage of women or something, where you just lose faith, right? But, like, let's say somebody challenges it by asserting that Christianity is a Jewish psyop, right? and then it becomes a question of whether or not you, like, do you have epistemology, or should you be into apologetics, meaning that you're making a statement on behalf of why, like the reason for belief, right? Or something like that. Like it actually makes you dig deeper into, and that's for somebody to arrive at this is a Christian, is a Jewish psyop, then they themselves have to also do a lot of reading. And then, like the same thing with politics. It's like, well, you're a little club or whatever, like they tell you you can't study your supposed enemy. Sometimes by learning about your supposed enemy, you come to an understanding with them is possible. And so if they didn't want to squash it by becoming more familiar with their worldview, then they are it's just a incitement of like you're trying to incite the contentiousness or something. Or yeah, it's like they're trying to control something, where it's like they think that if you start learning about your enemies, then that you might agree with them or something. You're gonna, like you try to make it a taboo, like you'll lose interest. It's just like a troll. They get bored, right? It's like you think there's a reason to get mad about the word quote unquote racism, but if it turns out that they actually use the descriptor that adequately encapsulates what is going on that they have a problem with, you can be like, well, I mean, why do you let that get you mad? Like, you shouldn't care. Like if there's nepotism, like, well, I mean, aren't you a little bit? Don't we all have a little bit? Like, maybe you should work closer and tighter with your own community than worrying about what they're doing over there. And it would just make you a stronger, more resilient, having more to contribute in the long run. Like, maybe you shouldn't care if somebody decides that, like, okay, I don't want to work with black people. I don't want to include them in my business and what I'm doing. Is like, okay, I mean, that has absolutely nothing to do with me, and it's your prerogative. You don't have to remind me. I don't have nothing to do with making you choose this way, and it is your prerogative, right? Like, we have to think grown up, like more grown up shit, instead of like thinking it's like fairness and everything. Children value fairness, and then no human is as fair or consistent as Jesus. And I don't think we get another divine presence, because it's like, well, what happened last time? Why would we sin? Like, no, like you don't mix up with like people that didn't pay their traffic tickets with somebody that like raped or murdered or pimped or something and sold drugs. Like, you're just it's to suggest that I know you before I actually know you, your modus operandi, and what you value, and all this shit is just fear, and then that's just ridiculous. So yeah, I don't even care. Like, I don't care if they actually are genetic determinists. Like, so are lefties. And right now I can't really remember the example I was going to give, but they do the same thing. And then if people want to be genetic determinists on their own, that's actually normal, and I don't give a fuck. It's that they don't want to dilute their culture. They might say that there's multiple races, or subscribe to the concept of there being, 6 or 7 or 8 or like different races. Now those are like nationalities, ethnicities, but people usually use every single fallacy, like if they have one, like they have them all, because it's easy and they don't want to challenge themselves. They want to keep using words that are meaningless, and that works for them, and that's their prerogative, and I don't care, because I don't have to hang out, I don't have to be available, I don't have to, like, none of that. It's not uppity. You're not like uppity for being polite. You're not like, and then polite people actually get a little bit of grief for the you know how like people are trying to help as many people as they can get inundated, and they end up dealing with a lot of retards. So then when they actually meet somebody that has some sense or something, after they've been rolling their eyes at everything, they kind of give you a little bit of cantankerousness. It's because they think you're supposed to have some wherewithal. It's actually you do, but it's just like, it's like, oh, who's this person? Like, who's this? Like, I don't know. Like, they get exacerbated from, like, they don't. It's almost like, why do you need anything? I was like, when I first came to this place and to ask about informational resources and getting a caseworker, or asking about housing, they were just like, first thing you got to do is check yourself into drug rehabilitation, and you got to stay there for 6 months, and you're not allowed to look for a job while you're there. And it's like, how do you just assume someone's on drugs? Like, I think they're just beleaguered a little bit by all the people that they're dealing with, that they see that there's a need for people to not skip steps in the system, then to go look for a job and fuck off and be right back. It's like, we're not dealing with you that way. But or maybe, even if you smoke and you drink a little bit, or something, like maybe there's something that you could use in all humility or something like that. But then you're not going to get lectured by somebody who does worse shit than you do. Like, I don't really know. It's just like, yeah, I don't want to say that there's like a lot of these religious zealot cult leader people that want to proselytize and everything. I don't really know like that, like maybe they're just beleaguered by all the tweakers who isn't, like, I don't know, but there are a lot of people that go by Christian and don't delve into any of the deeper theosophical questions or the historicity, or they won't touch on, and then they just feel comfortable just going around telling people, like, in a way, fear driving, like a gangster, using Jesus like a gangster. They're gonna be mad when I have some questions that they can't answer, and it's like, well, they already decided that you haven't given yourself to the Lord, so you're on your way to hell, right? You know what I mean? And then what about, like, the fact that the people that irk Jesus the most were the ones that were just like, basically it was a wet nurse, like the scripture is like their wet nurse, and they didn't process any of the deep philosophical meaning, and they don't go there, or it was used to try to get all their people into a cult, and then give them like directives to your own, fit your own end, and it has nothing to do. You can ask them, like, who's your favorite church father? Like, you can ask them about what is the meaning of something, like, Ecclesiastics or Deuteronomy or hermeneutics or eschatology, or you can ask them this and they can't answer, but I'm still interested. I would like to find out more about this. It's just not, you know, it's just like, I don't believe in racism. Like, I don't think it was ever that. I mean, people like, what about lynchings and this and that? And that's genetic determinism. What about people who say like something wrong with race mixing? That's prerogative. You either can or you don't have to. But then I said race mixing. You know, that's not a thing. It's not even a thing. You would have some kind of hybrid subspecies living side by side with humans. It's not a fucking thing. We just like use it colloquially because it's easy. Why don't you give me a break, man, buddy? Like, leave, you know, like, why are you like such an irritant? Like, you're such annoying with your questions. Fuck. I seem to forget that scared demons can do hideous things. It's not racist. It's chicken shit. It'd be the chicken shit. And we don't really know how to combat that by diagnosing racism. You're not even expressing or explaining anything. Like, what are you talking about? Like, how, what, you know? Is it bigotry, you know? Bigoted people just need to mind their business, just like we do. Like, when white people want to have their exclusive, you know, organized community, assume that they have to out of necessity. Don't fucking take them personal and shit. You do that too. Anyway, we do the same shit. If it's all the same, then who gives a fuck what they do? Why do you care? Why do you get mad? And like, people will conflate fascism with Nazis, or will conflate it with authoritarianism. Well, it has that, but so does every other form of government. Don't you seek authoritative opinions? Isn't there a such thing as an actual authority with regards to these things? You're just saying authoritarian. Like, what are we talking about? It's just like, oh, this like group over there, we don't like them, and you have permission to hate them. Oh, thank you very much. I can hate anybody I want to. Do you know that too? It's not even a fucking terrible thing. A healthy amount of hatred is necessary for evil, for wickedness, actually, not evil. Evil just means early predecessor to go before primordial, primeval man predecessor. It has nothing to do with wickedness or treachery or deception. You know, and if your culture is under attack, cloning attack or assimilation attack, you have a reason to occult, you know, metaphysics. You have a reason to even use a little deception, because if somebody's trying to ruin your birthday and they're nagging you, and you lie to them to throw them off track, a lie becomes the truth. A lie is the truth if somebody's trying to ruin your experience. So, I mean, going by my speculation about what I was going to find when I get to this place or something, you can't go by any of that. Like, I don't see it. You know, there's just like, you know, a lot of people that don't have nothing to think about. They don't have like nothing. They don't think on anything. They're not thinking on nothing. And it's a problem, because all that time that you have spent not thinking about nothing with these little ambulatory distractions from, you know, the sublimation and the daily, you know, like sublimation, like there's lies being told. Underneath lies, there's a picture in a picture inside of a picture, you know. I just fucking lost track what I'm saying. This happens sometimes. All right, that's it. I lost track of what I'm saying. That means the video's over.